It's
Some
a
of
mixture,
them different,
okay,
some don't hold up as near as much as the other one.
okay. So do you know which company that is?
Who did we used to go with, we didn't like?
For grinds?
One of them was terrible.
It is like right on time.
Wilkinson's the one that had watered down
Mhm.
before itself.
Okay.
Do they,
That one
is that
probably
what's
is-
still owned by Wilkinson's?
I don't know who owns them anymore.
We got a paper from them that said Wilkinson.
Oh, maybe it is, I don't know.
No, sit down.
Just seemed like I thought somewhere that it was sold.
Call it order. You're all right. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call. Supervisor Jensen,
Yes.
Treasurer Corral,
Here.
Trustee Walker,
Yep.
Trustee Jashetsky.
Here.
Alright.
Everybody got a chance to look at the agenda?
Yes.
Your motion, do you have some questions on it, or?
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright.
Okay, public comment?
Hello, so I'm Karen Borshako and I'm from a small village at the other end of the county. But I'm here today because on March 27th, I went to a county commissioners meeting and Kevin Nisley mentioned your side-by-side, your fire association side-by-side run fundraiser and encourage people to go. Now, Kevin Nisley is known for years that side-by-sides should not be used on roads. And I gave you I spent a lot of hours making those packets of
So this
information.
is from you?
Yes,
Alright.
that is from me.
Okay.
And writing, and I included my statements, I included the one I gave to the commissioners last year and the year before, because there was no reason for me to rewrite up that information. But it goes in details into why side-by-sides are not supposed to be used on roads. The manufacturers of these vehicles want their products banned from roads because people die. That is why, just like you had a death down the road here about 2 years ago. That happens around our county, it happens around the state, it happens around the country, in places where people have gone against the manufacturers and decided to put them on the roads. And so I've explained to the commissioners time and time again that the state law that allows them to make the ordinance is unethical. All of it is unethical because the manufacturers say, absolutely not, our vehicles are not suited for pavement. They usually have warning labels inside that say, children aren't supposed to be in these vehicles. People should it doesn't matter, and I know we have like the roof thing in our ordinance, everyone should be wearing a helmet and nobody wears helmets in them. It is really immoral though that people drive around with children in their side-by-sides and UTVs and on their four-wheelers sometimes. I see all kinds of stuff where I live just like I hear happens up here. So what I'm asking you to do is rethink allowing this fundraiser to happen in your township. And it looks to be affiliated with your government. It's going to be starting here on the pavement.
Where is the fundraiser sheet? You have that with you?
You can have it, yeah.
We have one on the window too.
So
Oh.
rethink allowing that to happen here. You can make a much better choice to raise funds. Now, if you were having a fundraiser with side-by-sides and UTVs that was only off-road and children were not allowed inside them, I'd say, okay, again, only off-road and they have to be trailered in, but that doesn't look like what's going on here. So please review the information, it is irrefutable. The American Academy of Pediatrics has studied and studied. I gave you a very good position paper in there with all kinds of resources in it, saying this is not safe for children, this should not be allowed, this is a danger to public safety, is what the people who study this have said. And like I said, it's really irrefutable at this point, and people always say, well, our freedom, we should have the freedom to do this. I grew up next to a man who thought he should have the freedom to drink and drive. And guess what? He's been arrested for it a bunch of times. But the statistics for drinking and driving are very similar. actually, they boil down to, they round off to exactly the same. 1 out of 3 accidents when someone drinks and drives involves another vehicle, another person. So it's not just the occupants of that vehicle who are damaged. The same thing happens when UTVs, side-by-sides are used on roads. 1 out of 3 accidents affects somebody else. So it is not just the occupants of the vehicle doing that, and they're making very bad decisions for their children. Because, you know, my SUV out there that I drove, my very simple SUV with car seats in it, I could be cited if I put my nephew in my car and drove him down the road, not in a car seat. But these people are putting children in vehicles that are not designed for children, not supposed to be used that way. And these car seats are not compatible with UTVs or side-by-sides or anything. There's no way to keep children safe in those vehicles. So it's a very different and very unethical standard. So I'm asking you to review this information and please rethink that. Thank you.
Thank you. More public comment? Move on. Approval of the consent agenda?
I'll move.
A second, and then I have, questions for them finances. Is that what we're on? Sorry, I was trying to
Yeah.
catch up
Yes.
on
Okay, so we have a motion and a second.
Do we do,
Yep.
Comments.
do we do the, questions before the approval? Since the approval is
Yeah,
underneath.
Casey's got
Yeah.
something.
So the questions first, then we approve it.
Mhm.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, a couple of them are for the, in the future on the finance pages of it. Let me get there, sorry.
So like when we're doing the budget, you mean?
When we're doing the budget, yeah, just for,
It just happened.
Marie, on the CD thing,
Yeah,
I gotta look on what page that is, how's that going? We put 150 toward it, that's the paperwork, everything's good,
yeah, it's
Okay.
done.
yeah,
Yeah, I've got 2 statements on it from the bank.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that, I was just kinda curious on that. And then on that question, because there's 600, I gotta catch up. Page 104, and I think it's back toward the end in fund balances. Not the check reports, but there's a group of 17 pages and a group of,
Mhm.
there we go, right toward the end.
My page number.
Page 104, okay, with the 600 still in there, should we, not today, but should we look at maybe putting some more in the CDs? What kind of returns, or maybe in August, look at that a little bit more?
We can look at it, but it's gonna be less than our previous one. because it's going-
Fact,
Yeah, it's going
It-
daily.
it's
They
tanking,
won't even tell you the amount when you go in,
What?
because it goes down the next day.
Let's hope so.
hope it's more,
No, let's hope rates are going down.
Well,
That means.
yes, interest rates,
Interest rates are
Right.
going.
correct, that will
Right.
help in one aspect.
I can check on what interest rates are and what they project are going to go to before we can get this done.
Let's
And see if
just,
it's any more than our savings account.
correct, that's, yes.
Because
And
our
who
savings
knows
is
what it's gonna
actually-
be in 3 months.
Right, our savings is actually in an ICS, which has a decent rate of
Good.
interest.
So yeah, the CDs by that time might be below the savings
We
interest.
got ours like a.
They're very, they were very close when we opened this other one.
Right,
They were very close to getting down there.
so it may not make sense.
Ours was like 3 something, wasn't it, when we got it?
The,
CD.
the CDs, yeah, 3, but we're making 4,
Yeah, I know.
On our
I'm just saying
ICS.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
so the next is kind of a statement, that one was too, on the general, the fire, and the building, those 3 categories, if you look at the revenues over versus expenses, we're negative, and then the building department is a good positive. And then the library is a huge negative also. So we'd kind of probably waiting till the end of the year, the last 4 pages, and really look at that, so make sure for next year we're not way overspending. There are a couple reasons for that in the negative amounts. Roofing is on there from last January, I'm gonna go from memory a little bit. So, we just gotta pay attention to that, so we're not the same as our big government going into trillions of debt. So as we look at that, then, page 1 of 14,
Well, we're not in debt with them, we just didn't stick within the budget.
absolutely, true, fact, true.
Cause I'm saying, we still got money, it's just we
Fact.
didn't.
We just said that,
Right.
yes,
Right.
correct. We just gotta, yes, keep them,
You had me thinking, going,
no,
hey, am I
no,
broke?
we're not overspent, but we approved it all.
Exactly, yes.
And it's probably not a bad thing if the library does overspend a little bit.
So,
They
okay,
can afford it.
but I wanna ask that question a little bit, cause I want proof somewhere in writing saying, as we vote for it as a board to approve their finances, okay? I want whatever legal writing we have to have, prove it to me that we're supposed to be doing that.
Oh, that we have to handle their funds?
Yep.
Oh, I can find that we have to handle their funds. I can find, yeah.
But only, yes, writing the checks and I understand that, but
Right.
in a sense, we're approving their finances.
We're
by
approving
voting it.
the writing of the checks that they are requesting.
Yeah,
He's
but we're
talking about the
approving,
budget, right?
I was just gonna say, but when we go to June meeting, when we approve the budget, okay, we're approving their budget also. This board approves the library budget that we have no.
They don't give us a budget.
Sometimes that is such a poor situation with that
The whole
library.
library is, yes.
Right.
Because it's such a gray area, like Marie says, we have to be the one that handles the
We
money.
have to by law
Pay their
handle their
bills.
money and pay their.
But it's such a gray area.
We don't,
On their
It's not
budgets and that,
They're at $1 million.
whatever their bills say, we have to pay them. We don't get to say it, oh, it came out of this or that or whatever. We never see that. They have it, we don't have it. Then we can divide it up and make a budget after the fact, but that's not a true budget. Right,
you see what I'm saying?
I know,
Why?
but I don't know if we can change it.
That's fine, but if it's law, I'd like to see that somewhere. And that would, okay, it's the law that we have to do that, blindfoldedly approve their budget, because it's coming up again.
Right,
Because every year I vote no.
But it's true because there's nothing ever that said that they even had to have a public hearing. That's why for years it's always been part of ours. They don't do a public hearing, like we by law have to do a public hearing.
It just, that gray area, it makes no
It
sense.
makes no sense.
You get a lot of tax dollars and not have to answer to nothing.
Exactly.
that's the issue.
I mean, here, we'll take our fire department for example, whatever we spend, we wanna know about it, and it's open, up front, for anybody to know about. And we approve it, or disapprove it, whatever it is. So
But we have no say-so whatsoever how they.
it just
spend
bothers
money.
me, not
She has
that,
to
I'm
make
not
her
accusing
make
of any
check.
wrongdoing, it just bothers me that we do it blindfoldedly. It's wrong verbiage, but.
I know what you mean, though.
And it's not the first time we've heard that,
Huh?
but
Is that
I
their millage
don't
money?
know is there anything you
So-
can do about it.
Is that extra money?
So it's just like a
Both.
rubber stamp that you okay.
Lance asked, is that millage money or, it's all?
They have their
Yes,
own-
it's a millage money,
Right,
Mhm.
that's where they're getting their income from.
right,
And probably property tax money goes into that
Yes,
from the
yes.
millage, yes.
Mhm. So you would, if you asked them, they would have to give you the information,
And they will,
right?
cause I've talked to Kelly about it, she says, all you have to do is come to a board meeting. Yes, I understand that. But if I go to a board meeting, I still don't have a vote, but yet, we almost trump it here. You see what I'm saying? It's
Oh.
just,
It's more of a.
I've asked the
rubber stamp. We
question
have-
before, it's nothing new.
I think we have to okay their budget, no matter what their budget is.
It's not
Right.
addressed, it's not addressed. our
There's
role
nothing
with
that
their
says
budget.
that. But we don't have their budget to okay it, all we're okaying is the fact that we write their checks. That's what
We
we're
just make
okay,
it part of our budget process for the public,
Okay.
right?
so that they can come in and see.
It,
Some
but,
years we don't even get it, you know,
Okay.
but it,
I haven't seen a budget from them
but
since
that's
I
not on
started.
us. If they don't submit it in order to get with your packets and things, that's not on us, because I have never seen.
so,
anything
yes,
say-
monthly, it's in there, correct, their
That's
budget.
just what, that's not their budget, that's just what we're spending.
No,
No,
it's
that's,
in there,
the monies that's there on that report is what is on their budget.
Oh,
Yeah, 'cause
That's
if
how
it's
we
their
have to
budget amount.
watch too.
oh, okay,
We don't tell them when they're over or under, that's not our role, but in order for Jolene to put it into the system, we've gotta have.
and
the
so they
budget in
give
there.
this to us?
so there's 4 categories, our general, our fire, our building, and then the library.
Yeah.
So it's always puzzled me, that's a good word, why we vote on it. If it's by law, sure, we have to, it'll help me comprehend that. Anyway, so as we went on to the library, but page 5 of 17 is the next question.
I don't know, but mine are way better than these.
So this is up in the far right corner is the number. Under general operating, and this is for kind of next year's budget item, Ken, building improvements payments, okay? So we've made a lot of building improvements in the last 2-3 years, okay? So I don't know that we have to, and we budgeted $44,600 for building improvements for next year. I think that could be down to 15 or something. So it's just something to look at. And then the next page, 6 of 17, and somebody, inspection department inspector, under general page 6 of 16, toward the top, the $5,000 amount. What is that one? What line, what is that for? Do you know?
Is that under,
Any, on page 6 of 17, the $5,000 amount
No,
one.
it's under us. It's under-
We've spent nothing of it this year yet.
building department?
It's right here.
Are you in the building department?
Yeah,
it's
it's after
under-
the next page.
I know.
General operating
Yeah, right
fund.
Right, but it's also right here,
Well, yeah, and that just.
and it
might be-
carried over
It's
to
the
here.
first one underneath it.
Department 371. You're saying it's on there twice, Marie?
It's on,
No, this is the contribution. And then this is,
oh, this
The
is from
next-
way, way back, yeah.
and then this one is the inspector, right here. is
Yeah,
the
okay,
inspector. The
right,
other one is
right.
the contribution.
I have no idea what that is. Nothing came out of it.
That's because in prior years, when the building department was not bringing in permits and things, and we had the economy dip, we had to contribute. It's been a few years since we've done that,
Okay, that's
but
on
Amy just left it on the books.
that's on
That could
517.
probably come off now until.
For next year, budget,
I think what he's talking about is this, on the next page on Department 371.
Yep.
Inspection Department Inspector, 5,000, what is that?
This one?
No, next page, on the top.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Nothing came out of it.
see what I'm saying? That one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
That's the same as I was talking about the previous
Okay.
page here.
Because we used to transfer some
But
funds.
we used to, we haven't in years.
We haven't.
It's carrying itself is what it
it just carries.
Yeah. To the
And
plus
it's the
of
same thing?
30-some thousand, yes,
You know what?
to the plus of 30-some thousand this year.
I don't see, where do you get the 30-some thousand?
The balance sheet says revenues over expenses.
Oh, yeah,
The back, probably not the last page, that's the library. Revenues over expenses plus 34,000.
34008.
Yep. That was my comment earlier.
Yes, and I often wondered too, when that $5,000 was gonna be reverted back to the
Right.
general.
We haven't moved it lately.
No, we haven't moved it ever since I started.
Yeah,
But that
So-
doesn't include cash on hand, those figures there don't include cash on hand.
if we look at that line for the budget for next year also.
Right.
And then, same page, 6 to 17, the planning commission, it just doesn't look like planning commission wage, have we not paid anything? Or does that happen once a year? $2,500,
Oh, we only pay that quarterly.
okay,
I think they're paying that quarterly,
okay.
I think. It'll be coming up here in June.
But-
For the year.
But quarterly,
Should have been
we're already in
something
the
out of it.
fourth quarter,
Yeah.
so where does it, because this is for the year, where either there's a typo of some
Well,
month.
Amy, I can't speak for Amy, but
And I-
she hasn't paid it at all this year, for their, we got the attorney, zoning,
And I
It's
don't
quite
mean to say that.
possible that she hasn't paid it
Yeah, she probably
yet this
hasn't
year
paid one yet,
because
'cause it's just now the first
the only
quarter.
check that Michelle
no, it
got
doesn't
was
show
for
that she's
something
paid
else.
any year to date, from what I see.
So when I ask these questions, I'm not putting I don't want to put people on the spot.
No,
I gotta know now, it's
Right.
just for future. But anyway, so you're saying it gets paid quarterly,
Usually it is, but I don't think from looking at this that maybe she's paid it this
so
year.
I wonder if any of the planning commission members have been paid at all
Not yet, I'm
Right.
saying maybe not.
for the budget year.
Right.
Okay,
I could go
Okay.
look, because I got the spreadsheet in there, but she may not have paid them at all.
Just the way it looks, Norm, she
Right.
hasn't. The way it looks, that hasn't been
Right.
paid.
That's what I'm thinking, is that she
And
hasn't paid it.
she never gave me any checks to take home to Michelle,
Yeah.
so I'm thinking no.
So
So
she'll
then-
probably doing it this next month.
Yeah, because they only get paid $35 a month, you know, and they probably would have got $350 each maybe, 5 of them, you
So
know.
it might be once a year.
So-
okay. Page 7 of 17 for the next budget year, the pension fund contribution will obviously be less for next year, because we've changed some things.
Right.
So we'll just have to kind of figure out what that number is for the
That'll
budget.
all come in when Jolene and Amy sit
Yep.
down and do the budgets.
Yep,
And then we'll have the budget hearing, and that's when
Okay.
we'll make changes as we wish.
I've already answered that one, if you guys have. Just a comment, in the building department, yes, it shows revenues over expenses, but in a sense, the office manager's spot is more building department than anything else, but
Right
it's
now,
not.
next year, I would have that on my list, we need to break that down,
Yep.
because right now I'm doing more building.
Correct,
I'm still doing planning and zoning and that kind of stuff, and sometimes tax and stuff
Right.
like
it
that.
just, it's,
But it would be more justified to the budget if we brought it out, you know?
yep, Bonnie's wage not included,
Right,
that's all.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the planning commission gets paid once a year.
Oh, you looked, okay, thank you.
Cool. Solve that problem.
Apparently at the end of the year.
Hmm?
Apparently at the end of the year.
What day?
Well, it'll be June first.
Right,
Yeah.
pardon.
They haven't been paid yet, so it must be the end of the year.
No more comments on it?
Thank you for answering my questions.
So now I make the motion
We have a motion, we have a second.
agenda.
We had a discussion, so now I'll read the order table.
Aye.
Passes. Okay.
roadside.
Yeah. And the county, or the road commission wanted 69, right? So, 69 to do their cutting. Randy Green was 50.
Is it in here or no?
Yes. Road commission's ain't, but yeah, everybody else is.
Wait, the road commission is right here.
Yeah, that's what they sent,
Oh, right.
but it ain't in here. Or no, none of it's in them binder.
No, it's in here.
All right here.
Paperclip.
Okay, is this one Randy Green?
That's what I'm trying to find out where it says up in the top corner.
Yeah, right here it says Randy.
Says Randy Green. He's at 58.
Oh,
Where
okay,
you at?
Okay, gotcha.
This one?
He's at, that's Brian.
That's the
isn't it?
Brian. It's just got Randy Green in the little box here.
The one that's, looks like this, is the mowing.
Says page 13 or something on it.
Got it. Now I'm there. Randy Green excavating.
The only thing that scares me with him is he's taken a good chunk of a lot of these people.
A what?
So is he gonna be able to
He's,
do them? Cause the last time I talked to him, he still only had one tractor.
Okay, I have a question about the road commission one. Okay, their total, or their bid is 6,900.
Yes.
Okay, what's this 38, or 13.8 down here?
Probably total.
So 13.8 total, that's two
That'd be
times, so
two
this is
times.
per mow,
Yes, 69 is for two mow, or for each mow.
for each mow, and this is for each mow also?
Yes.
Okay, okay, all right, that answered my question, but with now the comment, if we use the road commission, we can do
The
allocation,
allocation, yes.
so that makes it cheaper than if we go this route.
Exactly.
right.
At one time, they said I could use the allocation with Randy Green, and then I asked them again, and they said they had to get back with me, and they haven't got back with me, so. Just to be safe, I would say no.
In the past, we,
In the
you
past, they
had
never
to
let
use
us.
them for the,
Just the road commission is the only thing I use allocation.
right?
So minus last year?
That's what I
No,
told him.
hang on. And, minus whoever did it last year did a wonderful job. And I thought that was a scenario. Minus last year, it's been done horribly. My mother, that's 78 years old, could have done better with a weed whacker.
I agree.
In a wheelchair. Okay, that's the honest truth of it. But last year was done differently.
It was just a couple guys
Huh?
doing last.
The second mowing, the first
First
mowing
one
was,
was still-
Was about the same.
because they had a program, it was a group of guys mowing at first. And they were pushing us to see how fast they can go get it done. They were told they had to get a township done in a day,
The township.
yes.
There's no way.
Well, they found that out.
They found that out the hard way.
Well, you can travel it, yes.
So then,
That's hard to do.
so then they took the program away and put the tractors back in each garage. So each garage has its own mower. So now, like say, this up here got never mowed until after 4th of July, so it was always deep. So now, the tractors are up here, when it gets time to mow, you say, hey, it needs to be mowed now, and they'll mow it. Supposed to, but that's all for me.
So you are projecting that it will be mowed as it was the second time rather than it was the first time?
Not gonna guarantee you that, because now, so, the farmers picked who they wanted in their mowers, right? So now they are, because it's union, some of the lower guys was mowing. Well, the higher guys, they mow on a Friday or Saturday, kicks them out of the mower. So now they're gonna put it up for bids per garage, so it might not be the same guys that's mowing.
It's kind of a rocket.
That being
Oh, it's-
said, I vote for Randy Green to, accept his bid, that's a motion.
But that, we have to pay that then, we can't use allocation.
Well, we
We
may
don't
go
know.
for allocation.
Maybe,
We might be able to, but we can
Okay.
use our allocation elsewhere.
If not, we can use it somewhere else.
Right,
Hey, Randy
okay.
Green's number,
huh?
which is
But
the
don't
number.
the union.
So evidently that's his, Ken, the way I understand this sheet, Randy Green excavating for these townships, North Branch is 5,800 with a double pass.
Exactly.
So I seen his equipment last year, he has a mower underneath him, he has a side mower that comes out, and he has an arm with a brush axe.
He's done a good job.
And I seen him doing Castle Road, I'm like, wow.
We got a motion on the thing.
I'll
Do
second.
we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Alright. That being said, you did an incredible job the second pass last year,
Well, like I said, they're
but
trying to get me to bid it, and I'm not playing their games.
So this is Randy.
It's basically a game
This
of
is
playing.
Randy Green.
yeah,
No.
I don't like it.
No, he's from road commission.
Okay, now we got the Brian.
Why is nobody bidding North Branch Township?
The what?
Why do we only have two bids in that four?
Well, the road commission bid it too. They're at 22, I think, a section.
Ken, who did we use last year, does anybody remember that?
It was road
Cause
commission.
we had, what,
I believe it was road commission.
we had some problems with it right off the gate, and then they came back and
Was
did
it
it
Chloride
again.
Solutions?
Chloride solution, I believe is who it was.
Oh.
I think.
You're awful proud of their work.
Well, they're $5,000 more this year,
Yes.
so.
I think we just stay with the road commission myself. We got a schedule with, when they do the grading and everything anyway, and they're willing to come up here and do it, so.
So question, on that one, Ken, can we use our allocation on
Yes.
that one?
I think, yeah.
So that's more money well spent,
Oh, that,
in my opinion.
Mhm.
And it's a no-brainer on the, so, obviously, the county road commission does not have an applicator, correct?
Yes.
They do?
yeah.
They have a truck, yes.
Oh.
Well, actually, they have a semi truck, and then they have what they call a dead end truck, is a
Yep.
short with a butt. So they actually have two
Where do they get their brine from?
Wilkinsons.
Which is that here,
Yep, right there.
right in our township?
No,
No,
it's.
Rich Township.
Rich Township.
Something that's-
Ridge,
That's
oh,
on
on 24.
Yep.
What's the name of the one that's here on Castle Road?
And I don't know what the name of that one is.
I just kinda curious, they're in our township, I
Right,
talked
yeah.
briefly the other day about this.
They come into Harmon's every once in a while, and I can't even tell you what the name of it is.
I wanna say it's WLC, I think.
So, Ken, can we find out for future, they're in our township, if they're not on this sheet,
I'll find out.
Bidding.
But
it seems like
one didn't bid us.
they're so close that for a long time, I just said, I thought they were these people. Okay.
But even Wolfson, they're local.
They're very local.
But the road commission was 22 per application. Yes. So which way you wanna go?
I'll make a motion, but I will only motion for 2 applications.
Yeah, that's all we've ever done.
But I don't
They
want,
put it out there just in case
I
it's
understand,
a terrible year.
I would just soon grade
Yeah.
more.
Got a motion, can I get a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor for the road commission to do it?
Aye.
Aye.
So we can use allocation on that, correct?
Yes.
And it's significantly cheaper than the other two, so
Yeah.
that will make up for the other.
It'll help. That way if we have to do some gravel and stuff, that's pretty good. The next thing, Caleb called me 2 days ago. They're gonna be grinding up 90. He wants-
M90,
They're going from the bridge all the way up to.
starting on the other side of the bridge, okay, right?
They're gonna fix that bridge.
That'll hurt you. Go across it with the tractor.
They're supposed to be fixing that, but anyway, the grindings,
Yep,
they wanna know if we wanna build up Jones Road and then top it with gravel. And I told them I need a price,
yeah.
but the milling.
I don't know I don't know that they've I've never really known of a road that they did that to. Where is an example?
Norway Lake Road.
Miller Lake Road?
Norway Lake.
Norway Road, Lake Road.
I told them, give me some prices.
24?
Yes. They
Well, they did that intersection right by Toll.
Does that make a good base?
Correct,
And that's,
Does
and it holds,
seems like it's holding real well.
but that's not top with gravel.
No, that's just put down a filler. But usually what they do, depends, so we did Clam Road, it's got the millings on it, when they did Otter Lake Road. They did Norway Lake Road, so what they do is, once they put the millings on, let it set for a little while, then they'll bring their milling machine back, and they pulverize it again.
Into, say if it goes down Jones Road, then they'll run it over top of Jones Road?
Yep, they'll run the pulverizer again,
Yep.
mix it with the gravel and stuff that's there,
Yep.
and then they'll top it back with gravel. Again.
Seems like that's gonna hold
Seems
a
like
lot
a good base to
tighter.
me.
It
But
makes
I
sense.
also told them I didn't care if we actually did Jones Road, I mean, it needs work.
Yeah,
But is
especially
there
it
any
seems you
more-
live on Jones Road.
Well, that's why I keep telling them to leave it alone.
Well, I would say, what about Oak Grove Road?
But-
Why,
You guys have been around, have you seen any spots that are kinda sinking? I know there's
In-
one
in
at
where?
Argus Road,
Oh,
right at that intersection.
Jones Road down by
That was the
Hutchinson.
spots I'd rather fix.
Yeah.
If it costs us a little bit more money to truck it, I'd love to have my road fixed. I'd love to have it nice and smooth, but I don't need the hassle of everybody going, oh, you live on that road, that's why we're doing it.
Yeah, nobody would ever say that kind
Yeah, they do. They'd be pounding on my
well, your
door.
section's probably one of the better sections of that road. Go south, it gets worse.
But I do know that
That's what
Norway
I
Lake
like.
Road
The
It's
bad
never
little
been
spots,
graded
see if we can get them
since
to
winter
take
time.
from there.
of, okay,
it hasn't been touched grading wise. And there's a couple holes here and there in the center.
so how easy is it to grade?
It's not the greatest.
Yeah,
Especially
But-
once it locks in.
But once you get lock in it, but you gotta put at least enough gravel into it to mix it, so then you're really, it's actually a gravel road again. If you don't put a lot, you'll get the black showing and that makes it hard.
so I'm in total favor of using that grindings in our township, yes. Maybe not on that road, okay? But I think it would be money well spent. We try to buy gravel anyway, a little bit. So let's,
But I know there's some bad spots in the township that need attention.
Correct.
And-
I think we should use it all.
Oh, yeah, definitely use it all.
Where did you say they're grinding it off M90?
The whole thing.
The whole thing
From
The bridge out here,
all the way to.
Oh, this
all the way
bridge
out.
To
all the way
24.
out?
All the way
All
up
the
to
way
Oh, I
So we
thought it
need-
was.
We'd only get it.
All the
That
gravel
way,
in
just-
our township.
And I thought,
is
why
all
are they
there.
putting it in our township when that's actually Deerfield? Okay.
Once they get to
Some of it
Deerfield,
will be
they're
in ours.
offering that to Deerfield.
Yeah, okay, so some of it will be in our township, okay.
Yeah, but maybe they weren't asked.
3 miles of it we are.
Do you know
Because
what
it's a
they're
state road.
starting?
Sometime in June.
I want my wood back too.
Well, good.
Yick.
We're gonna make it interesting.
That's in
It
the.
doesn't take that long, for that, it doesn't take them that long, you know, if they get good weather.
Okay.
So Ken, were they asking, are we able to get more than all the way to 24?
I don't know, he didn't tell me that.
Yes is the answer.
I'm assuming they're gonna offer it at the Deerfield too.
Mhm.
I'm assuming.
3 miles of it already.
Those
I can
dirty
live with
people.
that.
But actually, 3 miles,
That's a
There's a
lot.
lot.
it's a lot of buildings.
Correct.
And a truck driver might just take an extra couple loads if you need it.
And there's another one in here for Floyd's lawn service, but we didn't put it out for bids, so she was gonna put it out for bids. so we didn't.
Thank you. Who did it last year?
Floyd.
Lloyd.
He did a nice job, but
Correct. So we'll
make it fair to
post it
everybody.
and vote on that next.
Mhm.
So,
I know,
we're gonna need a vote probably by then.
if that gets it out, somebody will mow it.
Huh?
One of us will mow
If it keeps snowing, it's not gonna
it.
need.
Right? It'll give me a reason to get my mower out and.
No, we're not gonna get your mower out.
That is. That's all I got. Except for the property update. Troy's starting to get a little bit back out there. He's got 3 vehicles that don't have plates on.
On the whole property?
No, just all front.
And, oh, again? Did he get tagged?
He's been tagged. We have an actual court order on him too, right?
Not that we have a court order, he's been tagged.
We did have a court order,
On Troy,
yeah.
See if there is. If not,
in
well,
downtown we do, I know downtown we do.
I'll
Oh,
go
maybe it
talk
was,
to him.
yeah, maybe it was downtown.
Sometimes these things go so long,
I know. These have been going
Everything
for long,
else.
but I don't wanna.
Yeah, it's time to have a talk with the Henning family as well, just south of me. Okay, they've got 3 or 4 or 5 cars with no plates on there, they've got 2 piles of garbage. It's like plastic toys and diapers and whatever, and then they got a big pile of,
who's that,
of
Lance?
couches they're gonna burn. Henning's, Ed Henning.
Let me go talk to him first,
First down,
cause he does that one.
just be careful, he's crazy, he's
Oh,
crazy.
I know him well.
Okay.
That's why I said awful. I don't.
Wouldn't be a good idea to send me, let's just say that. Way to go.
Well, he probably won't like me after I tell him to.
He will not, but it's really horrible right now, it's really bad.
How
Not
are
as bad as
Cheney's
the other
doing?
one around the corner, but
How are
almost.
Cheney's doing?
Cheney's now, that's another story. Joe give him 10 days from last Thursday?
Was it
Yes,
last Thursday?
but the guy that's supposed to be bringing that dumpster in has been out of town. Just asked Joe about that, so they haven't got the dumpster out there, so that means it's
So
gonna
are we
be.
saying 10 days from when the dumpster gets there?
I'd say you'd have to give it to him when the dumpster gets there,
Yeah.
but they've been out there.
I didn't think
He
it
was
looked that
burning
bad.
some stuff the
It's-
other day.
It's terrible. The rats are back. The back behind the house is the worst.
No, I didn't see that, no.
And they.
Just to let everybody know, she was at the county commissioner's office today, at the meeting, complaining about it, that we're making her clean up stuff that she doesn't think is right.
There was a toilet sitting in her front seat, or in her front yard.
It's
the other
it's
day.
nasty.
It
I
might
feel
be a
sorry for
working
the-
toilet, but,
Well, I feel sorry for the neighbors.
yeah.
Neighbors should not have to put up with rats.
They're
Our
gonna,
office managers shouldn't have to put up with
No.
rats.
they're gonna get invaded though, you take away where they live.
They are,
They're
they're already
gonna-
being invaded.
Yeah.
And then last week, we had the neighbor that's on the easement in furious over the easement and also the rats. So we did have a staff meeting with Kenny, Julie was there, and I, and Joe, and Ed, and the neighbor, you know. And, these easements are just constant bickering. I can't understand why people can't get along, you know, meet common ground someplace. So,
Well, that one there's already got a court thing that he went and got, and that's what I told him. You're the one that went and got the court orders and everything. You and her have to live with what the court said. We don't.
Right.
You're not enforcing it, we're not doing nothing with that.
we can't.
It's a civil thing, they would have to call the police, right?
Mhm.
Not us.
Well, the cops don't even want nothing to do with it.
Well, I'm sure.
but we definitely don't. We have enough problems.
But once an easement is in place, there's nothing we can do to get rid of it.
Not unless they work out some kind of deal.
They can
buy
work
it,
out and
or-
get rid of it, right. Okay, what if someone were to sell, one of them was to sell their property, could we say that easement's gotta go then?
Well, you can't do, and really, you can't do that because there's a building back there that people have to get to.
Right,
That easement is the only
Right.
way.
well,
to
and the best
physically
thing
get
would
there.
be for him to buy the easement, so he has a driveway.
Well, he don't even have to buy it. He has all
Yeah.
the rights to use it.
Legally,
I know.
he has the 66 feet, I think.
Ingress and egress, that means he can go across it.
So what's the problem? There's stuff parked on there?
Oh, she purposely going out, throwing stuff in the driveway,
I see,
trying to block it, and
I see. Yeah, you can't do that.
throwing garbage on the other side that we just got cleaned up.
I guess of the purposely, Mrs. Cheney, rest her soul, is dead.
So whatever Joe's doing with it, I'm not 100%. Like I said, he gave her 10 days, but if the dumpster ain't there, it's hard to.
It's hard to enforce if you haven't got our part done.
I didn't know the dumpster didn't get delivered yet, or we just could have called.
Do you know,
That's
did he know when it?
before. I don't know who Joe was calling.
Jim's Recycling.
Well, the
Is that who Amy had before?
Well, that's who was out there before. She had a dumpster out there that she had brought out, that
I
she was
know,
putting.
but I mean, when Amy
Field.
scheduled it, was it Jim's
Yeah, cause
recycling?
Jim, or Joe told her to call Jim.
Yeah, and he said that as soon as he got back from wherever he's at, he would get one out there.
Do you have any idea when that would, did he know when that would be?
I'm thinking within the week, the way Joe talked,
I'll see if I can
sometimes
get a hold
within
of
the
Mark and
week,
find out.
so. But that's just ongoing.
Other than that, I don't have nothing else.
Do you have an update on the large assembly ordinance
So,
from,
go ahead, Yeah, I think you're gonna talk about it a bit too, or do you wanna talk about that now?
Pardon me?
You wanna talk about that now?
We
Go
can talk
ahead.
about it,
Yeah.
yeah. At the last planning commission meeting, we did have them change it to a special event ordinance. The reason partly that Kevin is wanting this ordinance, because he thinks, because in the resort ordinance, it says that we will have a special event permit, okay? I don't know where they got this large assembly ordinance, I know it's from Deerfield Township, I don't know which planning commission they brought it in. It's for outdoor, 350 people. My feeling is that ordinance is useless. And I talked with Joe this morning, and he said, number one, it's 4 pages long, way too much, you know. Number two, he says, if you're going to address it according to the resort ordinance, go back and amend the resort ordinance to clarify, you know. But to try to control that resort for outdoor is ridiculous, you know. I mean, I'd be more concerned about what they're doing inside more than outside, because that's where you're gonna find your bigger crowds and all. But, we don't really need it, you know, we put these ordinances on the books. We don't police them, nobody's gonna go out and count how many people you have. And the planning commission keeps saying that it's only for commercial, but it is not. If you have all that they've exempted, such as your farm things and your fundraisers and stuff like that, if they get over 351, then they should have to go the same as the commercial ones and get the permits. Again, it's outdoor, it's not for indoor, you know. So, I got Brian Garner looking over,
That's the wrong
and
copy.
Garner says, I can tell that probably Ray from Deerfield put this together thinking he's an attorney, and he's not. He said, the things they have in it, some of it's already duplicated in the resort ordinance.
So, and we were instructed to look at the, forget the name of it, Bottom Creeks, what we've already passed, and refresh ourselves with that
Yes, and go back into that and see,
Frankly, I need to get a copy of that from you.
and get an amendment and fix that, and
Right.
it'll cover this, you know. But to worry about the rest of the township that has never been a problem, like Joe says, if you wanna, like Brazil's had 750 at their wedding. It really didn't hurt anybody, we didn't even know, didn't get no complaints. There's a limit to how much we should tell people.
Well, if there's somebody that's gonna have a party every weekend and have 300 or 400 people, yeah, maybe we have to dress it then, but
Exactly.
once a year, somebody have a wedding,
But if it hasn't been a problem, why do we want to try to cover
we're not
something
getting
for it?
invitations.
That's right.
Okay, so if the ordinance for Bottom Creek, the special land use, says they need a permit,
Mhm.
okay, so if
For-
we,
For an outdoor thing, is that what?
It just says a special event.
for a special event.
But does
It's
that
not- it's not
mean, in
clarified.
other words, do we want Anthony coming in every time that he's gonna have an event and try to put permit, you know? I think they had something in there about a yearly permit or something. But still, he's not gonna know how many venues he sets up in a year when he comes in to pull the permit for us to look at and approve. It kinda oversteps itself in different ways. The bottom line is, it's another ordinance we'd have on the books
That we're doing nothing with.
that we're probably not gonna do anything with. We've got enough ordinances, just like the blight, that's just a constant, that we're trying to.
Didn't Kevin say that we promised the residents that we would do something?
They were concerned about,
But if we do the amendment,
mhm,
it addresses their concerns.
mhm. We could address it in some way, you know, in the actual special land use that wouldn't require to go through a permit or something.
And I was at the meeting where we were talking at the planning commission before I was sitting in the planning commission, sitting out there. And it was stated, even with their lawyer and Anthony present, this is gonna be an ongoing thing where, okay, now we need to change some things.
Mhm.
So, I think from their aspect, they were sitting up here, they've already changed things and they had big plans and that's not reality.
Mhm.
You know, I think they're reducing.
They're
Today-
downsizing, yes.
I looked yesterday from Jefferson and looked at the buildings and they're a lot smaller than I thought they were gonna be.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just
Okay,
moving
so
forward.
that's kind of the gist of it, where we're going. We need to look at the ordinance or the
We need to go back.
special land
Special
use
land use.
that's already in place, the planning commission. We need to review that and maybe make amendments to that, in
Cover it
our
under that, 'cause
next
that's what it
Thursday
should
meeting.
apply.
Yes,
You know.
because it was specifically made for them, it wasn't for
Correct.
necessarily, the intent was not, at least in my mind, was not for the entire township, it was
No.
for that particular.
So this, which we've changed the name of, maybe we'll put it, and I'm looking for the board's opinion, put that on hold, table it, or discard it for a bit until there is an issue. Until there is an issue, I'm looking for opinions.
I believe that's where we're going with it. That's what even.
But looking at-
The
Go ahead.
large assembly ordinance you're talking about.
Yeah, this is
Table
the
that.
large assembly
And
ordinance,
review the other one first and see if you
First.
can take care of it there,
correct,
fine.
okay, okay.
We're looking for a problem that isn't there.
The what?
We're looking for a problem that isn't
That
there.
has a,
Right.
no,
If that problem ever arises, we
And
can address it
The
then.
problem arose when it said they needed a permit and there were no guidelines, parameters for the
Okay.
permit. That was where they
review,
said, well, we gotta get something, and so the planning commission came up with what Deerfield had,
If
and
we
they
can make a little
submitted, they didn't
paragraph.
intend it to be, in its whole, it was just a sample.
But if we can make a paragraph in what we have already, that's better than 4 pages.
so I'm gonna,
It could
we'll
be
go
a
back to
simple
them,
fix.
let's, planning commission, please review the special land use of Bottom Creek, correct, and make amendments if deemed necessary.
Specific attention to that permit.
Yes.
With, okay, and look at the permit section.
Right.
And
Correct.
that's what Kevin was
For- yeah.
concerned about, is that we.
Okay.
It
address
says
that.
there that you need a permit, but there were no parameters for what, you know, okay,
That
you got the
permit
permit, but what,
section.
you know.
That has no permit, that has no parameters.
Right.
Position. We have 10 applications right now for a cleaning position. So we need to set up an interview day and an interview team.
Wow, 10, that,
I was surprised too, because
In that, I
got
read it
slammed
on
on
the-
Facebook.
I read it on the door,
Mhm.
like, refresh, 1390 or something an hour.
1391, yeah.
Okay,
For 2 hours a week, 3 hours a week. For
Yeah,
this.
she puts.
I am the wrong person in the cleaning department to interview people.
And I got a granddaughter that's applying, so
Right.
I'm,
Would it be feasible to, go through the applications, that whoever is the committee is, and weed them out and not have to interview all 10?
Yeah, I wouldn't interview all 10.
Well, 3 or 4,
yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be much more workable,
I think so too.
and
So,
not quite so time consuming.
yeah, right, it would be ridiculous to. So we just need a committee for that, and then we can go forward. Ideally, then they would be able to start May 1st.
May 1st.
Unless, I don't know, Bonnie, would it have to come back to the board, the candidate that was chosen?
Yes.
It would, so they wouldn't be able to start May 1st?
No,
Okay.
no, it should come back to the board, they should approve it.
A committee of 3 people?
I think 3 would be
three
sufficient.
good, yeah. I think that would be
Alright.
intimidating.
I think Brian Curse would be an excellent choice.
What?
Brian Curse would be an excellent choice.
What?
To be on the committee.
Would you 3 wanna do it?
Because we're girls?
No.
I think it's because.
I
we're
didn't
girls.
say that, thankfully I didn't say that.
No.
You didn't include Lance in there?
I can help,
I-
I can,
Lance is busy too.
I'm leaving Monday, I'm going out of town for 3 weeks.
The reason I say that is because you guys.
Or I would do it, but I will not be here.
So Lance is
I'll do it
out.
over the phone.
Guess who gets to do it, Julie?
I mean, I would come
I'd
over.
be happy to
yeah.
sit on it, would you want to?
That'd be fine.
Okay,
Okay,
Us girls could.
We can do it.
oh, okay,
it's
Okay,
fine.
then we will give you an update in May. Between the 3 of us, we'll figure out who we should interview and when we'll interview and
Yep.
who we choose, and we'll bring it back to you in May.
yep,
You can always
based on your recommendation.
All right. I appreciate your trust in us. Okay.
Who are the 10?
Actually, it's a variety of people. Yeah, the
The
only one,
companies or just individual people?
No, not,
actually, there's 2 companies, but,
they haven't submitted a bid though, and they're gonna be out of a price
They're gonna
range.
be, yeah, they're gonna be.
The companies you're saying?
but there's the majorities, it's like they're already doing
Doing cleaning
custodial someplace in the township, and this would just add on to their,
Yes,
especially.
making it more hours.
Well, I was just
than-
curious,
Right,
Chris, Nikki that works up with, I think she's head of custodial services at the high school or the middle
Uh-huh.
school. I was just curious, that's something right up her alley. that
Yeah.
She may or may not.
And she may have, I didn't pay attention to the.
She ain't got enough time to handle the school with all that. I know, I hear them all the time at the school.
So, okay, supervisor. You have
I've
anything?
done all my talking, I think.
All right.
Clerk?
We have, township in May. So just giving you guys a heads up that you might be thinking about that before that meeting. So I'm just giving you a heads up on that. If you want to, look at other townships' wages for fire department and, custodial, any of the wages in the township. I just didn't wanna blindside you in May, at
Okay.
the May meeting and be like, this is what we need to do.
Can you send out an email to the township clerks to send their pay scales to you, and then we'll have something to compare?
Yeah, and I am seeing them on Wednesday next week.
Okay.
So I'll have that too, and I can pass that on to you guys too when I get it. Okay,
That's always helpful.
okay. And the new computer, the laptop that's supposed to run the sign out front, they are coming in next Thursday to set that up and to do a training.
Good.
And I will be posting the information, then I was getting some of the nitty gritty information from Ken for the mowing, so I'll post that too. And that's it.
Not me?
Yep.
Okay, I had settlement on May 20th, it went well, no issues. I did get information from, I called got a hold of the lady, anyway, that had the information on the check cashing procedure that was recommended to me from Rich Township. Sounded really good, he said $7 a month was all they charged, and you could turn it on and turn it off. We are not a choice one customer, so therefore we don't get the same rates. And what she quoted for me was $25 a month, and I'm not sure it's worth that. I'm not sure it's worth that. We'd have to have it available from from July 1st through the end of February, okay? It's not a huge expense, and if you wanna go ahead with it, I can follow up on it. I also talked to Tri-County, and they have a company that they use. Several years ago, I checked with them, and that particular company didn't sound like it was going to be a good fit. She was supposed to be getting me some
Marie,
information, yes.
What item is this about? I missed that.
Check cashing machine, or not check cashing,
Credit card.
credit card machine, I'm sorry, I
Thank you.
said check cashing, I'm not
Alright.
credit card. Credit card machine so that we can take payments
On credit
on
card.
credit card, either over the phone or with the actual card.
For property taxes?
For property taxes only,
Property taxes only? Okay.
only.
Okay.
I'm not proposing to make everybody else go into that, I'm not. And we can do it for property taxes only, just use those two accounts. And we can turn it off and on when we want to. I have not gotten the information from Tri-County, I don't know what it will cost, but seeing how we're a customer of theirs, it might be cheaper than $25 a month.
So that's a small fee, and then there's no fee per transaction?
Yes, there is a fee for
There is,
transaction,
okay,
yes.
that adds up.
Be another 3%, right?
Well,
That's a lot.
it's more like 10.
10?
Oh,
That's more than ours.
It's a lot more than ours.
10 cents, not 10%,
oh,
10
10
cents
okay.
per transaction. The Visa fee, network fee is $7.40, the master charge network fee gets $3.23. The MC merchant whatever that is $1.75. Reg comp fee, I don't know what all these things are, I didn't ask her because she sent this by email, is $3.42. The PCI fee is $9.95, they will give us the machine for free.
Of
But,
course they will.
yeah, in the end, the whole thing, she said, is gonna run $25 a month. And there is still a 10 cents per transaction,
Just a flat 10 cents.
that's what it says,
That's not bad.
transaction fee. But we would end up having to pay that because I don't have a way to put that on their bill in the system, in my tax system. So we would end up having to pay that.
Is it easier for you? If somebody comes in and pays with a card versus
No.
a writing a check?
No,
There's no benefit to
a
that.
card is easier, I don't particularly care for cash, but cash is cash, you know. But it's not necessarily easier. It's a convenience for the public. That's the way we gotta look at it.
A lot of people have checked.
Because I'm still gonna have to input it into the system after it goes through, I still have to put it in the system. So it's no, yeah,
As far as form of payment, most people do not carry a checkbook anymore.
I
Correct.
understand that.
So their other options are get a money order
Right,
or get cash
Certified check,
or what?
certified check.
Or, well, money order / certified check.
but they all have risks, and I'm not sure how safe these are, I'm assuming they're fairly safe, but, I just got notice today from our bank that we had money order from the post office, that the post
Yeah.
office would not pay because they said it was altered or fraudulent.
So we probably, you're gonna check at Tri-County.
Tri-County,
That's
I've
where we
already, yes,
bank
and
with.
the lady called me from the vendor that they use, she called me, and she says, I'm sending you the information, I haven't seen it yet, but that was just Tuesday, so.
And it won't be a huge, so if it were 10 months or something, $250.
Right,
It would
it's not a
cost it.
huge expense, it
It would
isn't,
cost the township,
right,
not plus the 10 cents, or you'll come
And-
back with what they say.
I'm thinking once people figure out that we take debit cards, we'll have a lot of
Yeah.
credit and debit cards.
Especially because of the debit card.
Right, right now, I only have a few people who ask because they all know, it says cash or
Right.
check right on the bill.
Right,
Okay, but if we start taking them, we will have more,
correct.
okay? And again, it's up to you guys, I don't care one way or the other, it's not easier, it's probably not gonna be any harder, really.
It would just be more convenient for the public.
It's a convenience for the public. So that's my report, I have nothing else.
Do you guys have anything?
Today I have no more.
Lance, do you have anything?
Okay, the turnouts for the fire department's been ordered, 10 sets. And the pumpers have all been tested. Got a couple repairs to do on a few trucks, other than that, we're in good shape.
That is.
Building department.
Okay, I talked with Brian, just got off the phone with him this afternoon. He's come along on the ordinance. I'm sending him some stuff that, for the amendments to make sure, and within 2 weeks, we should have the ordinance. I sent him the definitions, what need to be combined, and we're gonna work together, and he says 2 weeks,
So,
and we'll have it.
when you say that, so the planning commission probably not gonna have it for the 17th?
No, we won't have for the 17th, that's, next Thursday.
Correct?
It'll be a week after that, hopefully.
Right, but our meeting's on
And then Kenny and I have
17th.
still gotta sit down with it, print it off, and by then, hopefully, I've gone through most of it, and I just have a few things to talk to Kenny about. And make sure that all of our amendments are in there, everything's in place, and then we'll send it to planning commission, and they will have to start critiquing page by page to make sure that he's got everything that they've discussed and what they would like to see changed. Then it comes to you, and then you will look at it, and we'll discuss pros and cons of what they wanna change before it's
It's
public
public.
hearing.
With that being said, unless I'm missing something on we don't have a planning commission meeting scheduled in May, I believe.
We
unless
don't,
some reason May and.
July we don't usually meet.
Correct,
I don't know why they're not meeting.
I don't know
in
either.
June.
that's what I just read, so I put it in my phone, all the meetings that are scheduled.
It's posted out on the phone.
Do we wanna put back the planning commission meeting until that's physically here?
That would be good.
You see what I'm saying? Otherwise, we're just gonna look at that Bottom Creek.
Well, we're gonna be covering Bottom Creek when we get to it. We can't just keep jumping in and out of the ordinance. We need to go through it section by section
No.
and make sure that it's right. And when we get to the resort, that's the time that we will discuss the permit. IFRADs are at least 9 9 months out before they're gonna be up and operating. Randy Opperman said 6 months just on the electric, he thinks, to be able to get,
Well, Gleason's supposed to be out there by the end of the month.
what's he do?
He's doing a lot of the building,
Is he doing the interior too?
starting to do some of the interior, but
Yeah,
they're moving along, I'm shocked.
so, but, health department still
That's where the
hasn't
whole
given
thing
them the
is,
green light, and they're not gonna get a certificate of occupancy until they're satisfied. And Strausser just sent me an email Tuesday and said that the state is taking over part of those, the septic part and possibly the well. So they still gotta get through that hoop, and that's gonna take some time, cause the state doesn't just jump right on.
Is that for all commercial or just that project?
Just Euphrates.
They've been battling back and forth on
Yeah.
who was gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they should have jumped in a year ago and said, okay, we're the ones taking care of that.
Exactly, they should have, but they kinda like, doesn't sound like either of them knew exactly what the other one was doing. And so now that it's hitting the fan because they wanna get things tied up, they need to get it done. The gatehouse that they're building has got the approval from the wellness
They
center.
ain't did nothing on that yet.
Yeah, so, but the restaurant and the, brewery, that's
Okay.
gonna be the big.
The gatehouse has well and septic?
Yeah, because I don't know exactly what they're doing out there as far as the gatehouse, but
Somebody's gonna live in it?
I don't know, it's gonna be.
What did you say, the what house?
The gatehouse?
There's a gatehouse.
Gatehouse?
I imagine that's probably what they're gonna come through as you, they're not just gonna let 3 people in and out, they're gonna have, the gatehouse, I think is gonna act as kinda like,
The
you
main
gotta
hub.
check in, and you
Right,
gotta know
right.
who's coming and going. I think that's what the gatehouse is for.
I
Anthony
can
hasn't been
understand
in.
having water and septic, I could, they
You
probably
gotta
have to have a
bathrooms out
bathroom.
there.
Gotta have a
Right,
bathroom in there, yeah.
Right, but why wouldn't they run the water from underground instead of?
It's
Oh,
a
that's a
long
long
ways.
ways away.
Too far
It's too
away.
far
Oh,
away.
yeah,
That's a
be
long
So it'd
way.
be cheaper to do a well?
Yeah, they're,
Gotcha,
I don't even know how many feet it is, but they're
okay.
half a mile.
Yeah, so when we get to that part of the ordinance, we'll address the special land use for the, resort, and that's when we'll take care of that permit section that Kevin's worried about.
Right, once we get it back,
Yeah,
correct?
but the thing is, when we try to jump here and there and
No,
get middle things, it just puts things off.
We just had this on the table, that's,
We need to finish up.
and the whole ordinance book in general.
Yeah, and Brian said he'll work weekends, he'll do what he's got, cause he knows we're at wit's end with it, because it's been so long. So he said 2 weeks, so I sent him off stuff as soon as I got off the phone, and hopefully, he'll put my stuff in with his stuff.
Would you communicate with Kevin Creener, then the chair of the planning commission, on, do we wanna have a meeting next Thursday, or push it back a couple weeks?
I think we should push it back. Marie, you could tell, Michelle to talk to Kevin about it, she can call me. if
Okay,
she
so
wants.
when are you recommending?
Well, if we're gonna give it the 2 weeks, and this is the, 10th.
I can talk to Kevin myself, but I just thought it,
So if we would
One of
push
them
it back
reach
to
out
like the
for it. I
24th.
can reach out to them, so. You're just basically what you want.
I just wanna make sure somebody is going to do it, that's all,
I'll call you.
I don't think I
I
could.
just wanna
May-
look at their calendar here.
okay?
Let me see.
May 8th is ours,
It's the 21st that Michelle.
so we either have the first is,
They have no meeting in May.
the planning commission,
I don't know why they don't have no meeting in
Yeah.
May.
I agree.
And then we ought never meet in July, cause it's 4th of July,
Right.
people go vacationing, so. But I don't know why they're not meeting in May. Memorial
Maybe they'll
weekend's
overlook, I
on
don't
the
know.
end, and they're usually the 3rd.
So, if Ken, if you can ask Kevin, if they can have a meeting, we can have a meeting the 15th. That would be after our next meeting, does that make sense?
The 15th of May.
Yes, for the planning commission?
That would really be good, because we could cancel the 17th and meet in May, switch those 2 months.
Correct.
And by then, that gives Kenny a chance, because Kenny's had a lot going with Joe, so that would give him a chance to meet with me, and we could go over that first draft, and then get it out to planning commission members so they can study it a little bit. And
That's
then
when
we'll
they'll go
get
through that
back on
list of other
track.
stuff that need to be addressed then.
Pardon me?
That's when they'll go through that list of stuff that you gotta get done, as long as it's getting addressed.
So,
So that May would probably be better for Michelle too, because Memphis is having surgery, I don't know the
First
exact
of-
date. It's the end of, it's the
right
end
after
of
Easter,
April.
isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
If it's, I don't think it's the 21st, but it might be the 28th.
Yep.
I'm not sure, I just sent her a message, she hasn't
so
got
Kenny,
back.
are you gonna get a hold of Kevin
I
and
can call
say,
Kevin.
let's cancel April and we'll meet in May? Okay.
Unless they had something going on in May that they couldn't meet.
Oh,
I don't know why they,
24th.
April
it'd be the
24th.
21st.
Cause they're not going to Jean's, right, because he's concerned.
Well, don't ask Kevin, and if there's an issue with
I
it.
think Memphis would
Oh,
probably see him.
okay.
So yeah, his Memphis' surgery is the 24th, and he'll probably be in the hospital for a week. So it would be best.
Ken,
to
yes,
wait
May
till-
15th, 5 p.m.
This smokehouse down on Burnside, do we have a contact person for that?
That's sold. That's been sold since we dealt with special land use. So we would have a new deed owner in the file.
We can get an address or something and ship them a letter so we can do an inspection in there, make sure they're not doing marijuana.
There's been a lot of trucks going in and out
That's what
lately.
Willie was telling me. I stopped there and I can't get into this lot.
Right, right.
Joe's note said nothing there.
Well, that's before I talked to Willie.
Well,
Last
they
few
probably
times I've been to Brown City, something's happening there.
Okay, so you wanna send Brian's letter? That
And
Brian-
then just, basically, we wanna come in and inspect it and make sure they're not doing nothing. And if they don't let us in, Joe said he'll have to go the other way and just get a,
We're just gonna order. Okay, yes, we can get an address for them.
Did we send a letter yet, Ken, to the one on Joseph Road?
the one on Jefferson, we need to get in and do another inspection on it. I've stopped there and I can't smell nothing.
They're growing, Jim.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they are.
Every
We gotta
3
do
months
that.
you can smell
It's very, very pungent.
That's that one on Jefferson there.
It's on there, he's had done nothing.
It's there. They've been in and out of
So
there.
you wanna revisit it,
We need to get in back
and you wanna
inside.
revisit 5774.
Yes.
What about 5714 next to Willie? He's got nothing.
But there's nobody doing nothing, but should we send a letter to the original owner saying, or have we from the planning commission, they're denying everything, right?
He has a denial.
That's what I mean, so I don't know if we need to send them a
We
letter or
don't
not.
send a letter if they've got a
'Cause
denial.
they're not doing nothing there.
You're not seeing no activity, right, Willie?
But the one on Jones Road, he gave him 10 days to clean up.
Which one? Which one? You mean 6-8, you mean over at by Washakie?
He did tell you?
How many grow houses do we have?
But next Thursday, he's supposed to be all cleaned up.
Okay, so you said 10 days on him?
That's what he told us. So next Thursday, actually next Tuesday would have been 11 days.
That's what they're growing at.
Cleaned up meaning his.
Did he say he had anything in there?
Oh, he was in there.
Shit.
Joe walked to the door of the garage,
Oh,
and
really?
the guy was in there cutting.
And so he's seen
So
that there
Joe
was
seen it, yeah.
marijuana, and he said he's gonna vacate it.
He told him to, but this guy don't know nothing, he's a worker.
Oh, he was the worker, he's not the
He
owner.
don't know who he works for, he don't know nothing.
So then we should send him actually a letter.
Yes, definitely.
The letter that Brian, because that
I
would
think it's
give
still
us.
owned by the people that had the place up in Clifford. I think it's still owned by
Is it?
them, yeah. Which they don't live here.
But if
They
Joe
live-
didn't give them really anything in writing saying that they had 10 days, except for that sticker, they ain't nothing, so
No,
they need to.
so we should send them a letter. And then these are, he said nothing, we still gotta revisit. 4180 Marvis where we did the raid, that's still
There's nothing in that one.
Okay.
The only water where they have it on is that one that's on Lake Pleasant Road, by Ward Road. I
yeah.
haven't got back in there.
That 4465 Lake Rice Road, they said there was light marijuana, and the guy said, no, there's no marijuana there. We got that set up for Thursday for you to go do an inspection. So he knows that we're coming. This guy out here on,
There's nothing in that house, but he's got violations.
he's got violations, so he needs a violation letter, but he was supposed to come in, he never did it.
He's gonna play games with us.
And then, H&K, that mobile home, you haven't decided for sure whether they're gonna demo it. We had.
He asked me if they would let it stay and he fix it up. And I told him I would talk to Joe and Ed, and they can go through it and see if it,
Can be
if
fixed
it's,
up.
if it's the older model and it's got the aluminum wire in it, it needs to go. Cause it's just a fire hazard.
So they need to go out and do an inspection.
I mean, if they think it's savable and the guy wants to put the money in it, as long as we didn't have no agreement with Bigelow that it had to come out.
Nothing with them, nothing, no.
Okay, the place at on Lake Pleasant at the, near Ward Road, it's back up on, okay, that was for sale. When they posted that for sale, it was empty of all that stuff. Has somebody bought that and started up again?
I just see a car pulling in and out once in a while, and it could just be anything,
Okay.
but I was gonna drive back there and look, but
Yeah, cause they when they had it for sale, they posted pictures and it was cleared right out. Of course, it still had all the air conditioners there, but.
other than that, I think that's basically all of them. So if we get them letters and make contact with them, I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's strange because you go do your inspections, nothing. Couple days later, it's back.
Just keep putting pressure on them, they'll leave.
Oh, some have already, yeah,
Yeah, we don't have many left.
right.
The only one I'm not sure on is Richardson old place.
That one still haunts, yes.
'Cause we stopped there the other day and nobody's around, but,
Never.
Are they growing in the house or barn?
you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't put it in the barn. We basically told them they had to, but they're doing something there.
You're 3 weeks late.
But they're not living there anyway.
No, but 3 weeks ago, there was, 10 cars by the barn. So I'm assuming that they're growing again.
They're harvesting.
We're harvesting it.
So maybe we should send them a letter then. Cause he never did clean up the barns and stuff.
Well, I know he did move up into the township over, east of Brown City, because the clerk called here to find out what we had done. At that time, he was moving over there, so,
He's moving his operation over there?
but, so we still
But he
need to
kept
check
it
and see
here.
when he got back. It's just because they move it, don't mean it doesn't come back.
Right, or they're going in both places.
Yeah, so,
Anybody else got anything? Public comment? Got anything? Good. Next meeting is May 8th. At 6 o'clock. Is Willie gonna be on time?
What's that?
Just teasing.
May 8th?
are you back then, Lance?
I'll be back, yes. I'm coming back the 5th.
Just to come and see us?
That's the vacation.
I
I need a motion to adjourn.
I adjourn.
I need a second.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor?
Alright.
Thank you. Thank you, we'll read this information.
She actually called me.
I appreciate you doing that, thank you. And I just had a quick question, who is your township attorney?
Brian.
Brian Gardner.
Okay, it was just a curiosity, I just like to know who is.